Alright, so bear with me a little bit. I have laryngitis. I warned Joe about this in the library when I saw him yesterday. But
this is correct.
Aside from that, notice how I mentioned laryngitis and not COVID. I'm going to try to refrain from talking about it this time. And instead I'm going to talk about something more positive. So remember this thing called recess? You and your friends could run outside and play on this thing called a playground. You could play tag, rock, paper, scissors, hide and seek. The fun's endless. Actually, scratch that. The fun does end. It ends when you start middle school. And then school says you need to stay shut indoors, listen to your teacher yammer at you, do homework and study for tests. You're basically stuck inside those brick walls for 8 hours a day. And that's more if you're in college. Hey, does that sound familiar? That sounds like life during the COVID lockdown. You guys may have missed being at school during the lockdown, but face it, at school, you're still stuck indoors. Only time you might be outside is if you're walking to the class or if you're taking the bus or driving your car or stuff like that. So that's why, coming out of the pandemic, I'd encourage all types of education to mandate outdoor activities. Nature in the outdoors would be as important as your ABCs or your 1, 2, 3s, or even your shapes and colors. Really, getting outdoors is the springboard to learning everything else. So after the lockdown shut us inside, it's not been easy coming outside. Studies show most students do not get outdoors as much as they used to. When indoor homework goes up, the student's mental health goes down. The U.S. Forest Service provides reasons on their website for why the outdoors is important. And they say that the outdoor time gives you vitamin D, which boosts your brain and helps it focus, connect with people, and develop creative ideas. All in all, this leads to good mental health. So aside from that, I was also inspired by a course I took this semester for my core Franciscan requirements. It's called Feeling Stressed, Try Nature. It's on how nature can help reduce mental health issues. And I highly recommend taking it if you still need to fulfill your core requirements here. So each week we would watch documentaries and read articles on nature's impact. We'd also log in a bi-weekly journal on nature's activity. So we would go outside and we'd tell our professor what we did. And one of the documentaries we watched in class fascinated me. It was on Nature School, or Forest Kindergarten as it's called in Denmark. Young children go outdoors and spend their whole day there. And I'll show you a video on that at the end. So skeptics may think this is just recess all day, but I argue it isn't. The kids are learning about animals, how to coexist with them. They're seeing trees and plants galore, and they're getting sunlight to help engage their wee minds and put them to work. And I'm happy to announce that schools closest here are making note of mental health in their classroom. So this is Mechanicville Central Schools. They recently installed courses this year on mental health, because schools, well, they kind of have semesters in a way. Some of them are required for students to take. One of them is a self-improvement lab. Students meet with a teacher or a social worker who gives them advice on not only improving work, but ways they can stay mentally fit. Whether it involves exercise, getting enough sleep, or standing in the sun for 10 minutes. They do this for a homework assignment and report on how they feel afterward. And Mechanicville's high school principal said, the social and emotional development is just as important as their study skills. And he agreed students would learn better from having that motivational boost. So where does my idea lie into this? It's a little bit of both. We come to class and learn for a while, then we spend time outdoors in between. Maybe an hour a day would be good enough, or more. We'd complete this task each day as an assignment and maybe check in with a social worker or a teacher about how we're feeling. And we could learn about nature and also learn about how our brain functions from nature. And now, as promised, here is some info on Forest Kindergarten. Thank you. You can stop recording.